Want to see how I turn these ill-fitting shorts into a skirt? Keep watching.
What's up, gorgeous people? It's Amber. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video, we're finally back to the fashion DIYs. I am so excited to jump back into the swing of things. I've shared quite a few hauls with you guys in some subscription services. I'm hoping that you found my reviews of all of those hauls and subscription services helpful in some way. And I want to thank any subscribers who are here for the DIYs. Thanks for hanging on. I promise you, I have a lot of DIYs coming, and I really appreciate you guys sticking with me while I did all of the hauls. And those of you who are here for the hauls, there'll be more hauls in the future. But I'd like to try to find a good balance between doing the hauls and the DIYs. So I want to get at least one DIY in each week. And I'm going to cross my fingers and hope I can do that, but I make no promises. So at any rate, if you're not subscribed to my channel, I hope that you decide that you want to after you see this video. Okay, let's jump into what we're going to do today. After going through all of the things that needed help and the hauls that I've recently done, I decided that we're going to work on those gorgeous pleather purple shorts from one of my Shein hauls. I know a lot of you are probably thinking, why in the world would she even buy those? Well, I like very bold, crazy things. My style is definitely not the norm. I like to just stand out in a crowd. I don't like to be like everybody else. That's just the way I've always been, literally since I was a child. So nonetheless, we're going to go ahead and we're going to make those so that they don't look so terrible on me. And I think the best option for that is to turn them into a skirt. Super easy process. So excited to share it with you guys. And I want to thank the subscriber who commented on that video and told me that I should turn it into a skirt. Although I had already decided that before they, shared that comment with me. Thank you so much for throwing your ideas out there. I hope that all of you will do that in the future. I would love to hear what your thoughts are when I'm like struggling with something or thinking, what can I turn this into or what should I do? I would love to hear feedback from you guys. So go ahead and comment below if you guys have a better way of doing something. If you have a good idea for how I could do something, I would greatly appreciate if you would just comment below. So now that I have all of that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and move on to this awesome DIY.
Okay guys, materials in the description box below, and we're going to start by showing you how terrible these shorts look on me before we start to take them apart. Just in case you didn't catch the video where I actually tried them on, they don't look as terrible as I remember, but I know this is not a good look for me, guys. These just are not doing anything for my figure at all, so I've got to do something with them if I'm actually going to wear them. So hopefully when I get finished, they'll look fabulous. But for now, this is what they look like. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start by seam ripping out the crotch area of the shorts. So we're going to grab our seam ripper and we're just going to start seam ripping that seam out right there that I'm showing you. So in order to seam rip them out, you're going to grab the shorts and you're going to like pull the threads apart. And as you can see, I started the cuff here. I don't know what I was thinking. Clearly have not crafted in a very long time. So I'm a little rusty, guys. I decided to move up to show you a little bit better on the upper part where it wasn't cuffed. So you're just going to slip your seam ripper underneath the threads there and just pull them apart and get as many out as you can to be able to flip the seam ripper over and put the little ball part, the little red ball part in there and just seam rip out the area. So obviously I'm not going to bore you with showing you how I seam ripped out the entire pants. So we're going to just fast forward through this part. But as you can see, once I get to the cuff area, I just snipped that top thread out and then just folded the cuff over. And then I'm just going to seam rip out one side and then the other side until we have everything completely opened. So here's what it looks like so far. Now, as you can see, I still have the two areas attached there, and that's because there was a lot going on there and I just didn't want to mess with seam ripping it out. So what I decided to do was just grab my scissors and I'm just going to cut it. It is just not worth the stress and aggravation for that tiny bit of material, and it's really not going to make a difference. So I'm just going to go ahead and snip that area off because I just don't want to mess with it. I do that a lot when it comes to the bottom of pants or shorts because there's just so much going on. It's just hard to figure out how to seam rip it all out. Now normally I would clean that area up, but I'm not going to do that in this case, and I'll show you why in a second. Okay, so we have the shorts facing forward. We're going to take them and turn them on their side. And as you can see, the pattern comes to like this little pointy type situation. Of course, we don't want it to look like that because we're making a skirt. So we're going to grab our scissors and we're just going to level this out. Now, I just eyeball things, guys, and hope for the best, but I definitely would encourage you to use a ruler or something like that to try to get this as level as possible. But I like to eyeball everything and just hope for the best. So we're obviously going to do the same thing to the other side. And this right here is why I did not waste time cleaning up all of those threads, because I knew I was going to be cutting off those areas. So now that we have all of that done, this is what it looks like. So now we're going to need to pin everything together to sew it down. So we're going to turn the skirt inside out. And I don't know, I'm looking at these cuffs here and I'm like, whew, that's like a lot of fabric. It's kind of thick. I need it to line up perfectly. How am I going to make this work? So you know what? I played with it for a little bit and I'll show you later in the video what I decided to do. But for now, I just grabbed my sewing clips and I'm just going to clip everything down as best I can, making sure that it's lined up as good as I can get it. So we're going to go ahead and clip all of those other parts, looking pretty good, flip it over to the other side and do the exact same thing. So we're just going to clip everything together and then I will be running it over to the sewing machine to sew everything down. Okay, so after I sewed it together, this is what it looks like. Okay, so now we have a terrible looking, ill-fitting skirt. I wasn't even thinking about all that excess fabric that they used to do this gather situation, and that's what's making it look so terrible on me. So you see this seam right here? I'm going to go ahead and take it in at that seam, and then there's another seam right here. I'm going to take the skirt in at those two seams to make it fit a little bit more, like closer to my body, so a little more form-fitting, so that it doesn't look so terrible. I mean, it still looks terrible. Now we just have a terrible fitting skirt instead of terrible fitting shorts. So the problem is all that excess fabric, and had I thought that through, I would have realized that. So if you can see that seam, which I'm hoping that you can see that, that's exactly where I'm going to be taking it in at, right there in those two front seams and then those two side seams to get rid of the excess fabric to make this look better on me.
Hey there, Amber. Sorry to interrupt the video, but I just wanted to remind you guys, if you're enjoying this video, I have so many more videos just like this one and so many more to come. So if you're enjoying the video, make sure you hit that subscribe button, click the notification bell so you know every time I upload a video. Let's jump back into what we were doing.
Okay, so now I have the skirt turned inside out, so you can see those seams really good where we're going to be taking in the skirt on the side and in the front. So the first thing I want to do is put the skirt on my body where it's actually going to lay. I want it to be high-waisted, so I needed to pull it up a little bit in order for it to be where I wanted it to sit. So then I'm just pinching it with my fingers on both sides, deciding where I'm going to need to pin it so that it fits my body a little bit better. We want it to be a little bit more tighter fitting so that it looks better on my body. This would probably look fabulous on somebody else. It just does not look good on me. So now I'm just going to grab my pin and I'm going to pin it in that spot. Now I'm not putting my pins right up against my body here because I want to allow for some seam allowance. So I'm just pinning a little bit further away from my body to allow for seam allowance, and doing that on both sides here. So obviously I'm going to pinch this side and do the same thing. Add a pin where I need it to be, making sure that I leave enough room for seam allowance. See how much better that's fitting already in the back? It's looking a lot better. So now I'm going to do the same thing with the front seams because obviously that was another baggy area and that's what's making these shorts look so terrible on me. I probably could have left them as shorts and did this with them, didn't even think about it, but you know what? We have a skirt now, whatever. So I'm pinning that seam as well, and I'm just adding one pin. We'll add the rest of the pins once I take it off. So I'm just adding one pin in each area where I need it to be, and then I will show you how I'm going to pin it all down for sewing it so that it'll fit my body a little bit better. So I'm adding that last pin in there, and I'm hoping that you can see how it's like hugging my body a little bit better. See how it's just fitting much better all the way around? Because I'm going to take the seam all the way down and I'm just going to work it into that original seam so I don't have to mess with the cuffs or the top of the shorts. Well, they're skirt now. Top of the skirt. It's a skirt. Okay, so now that we have all of our pins in place, the first thing that I want to do is make sure that they're both in the same place. So that the front seam here, I'm going to take those two front seams and I'm going to put them together and I'm going to feel where the pins are to make sure they're both in the same place. And believe it or not, they're both actually in the same place. So I don't have to do anything here. That was actually pretty exciting. That like rarely happens. So now I'm going to go ahead and take the two side seam ones and put them together and make sure both of those pins are in the same place. So I'm going to put them together and yeah, they're not. They're off a little bit. So what I'm going to do is adjust the pin that is further in to be the same place as the pin that is further out, because I would rather have to add an additional seam on the inside if it didn't work out than have to seam rip out because I've taken it in too far. If that makes sense. I hope you're following what I'm saying there. So I've lined both of the pins up to the one that was the furthest out and good to go. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and work on pinning this together so that we have something to follow on our sewing machine. So obviously we're working off where that first pin is, and I was trying to straighten it out and then I realized the pin was just bent, so that's why it looks like it wasn't straight, but it actually was straight, so whatever. So I was trying to figure out, because I haven't done this in a while, clearly, how I can work into the original seam. So I thought, okay, well, let's just start where the original seam is, and then we're just going to work our way out to be taking it into where we need it to be to fit my body properly. So that's all I'm doing here. I started from the original seam, and then I'm just working my way down to where the pin was to take it in. So it's going to be kind of like a half circle situation. This is going to look like a complete and total mess when you see it pinned, but believe it or not, once I sew it down, it actually works out quite fine. So I'm just working in my way down to where the seam ends at the bottom there, and that's how I'm going to sew it together. I'm going to do that with all 4 of those panels, and we're going to cross our fingers and hope for the best. Okay, so I'm back and it's all sewn together, and believe it or not, that was exactly where I needed it to be. So that's where the seam is. See it? Just like that. That's how I sewed it, tried it on. It fits perfect. I'm really happy with it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut away the excess fabric. So you don't want to cut too close here, guys. I feel like I kind of cut a little bit too close. You definitely want to leave some of the fabric on there. If you have a serger, you could totally serge this. I don't, so I just leave mine like that. Works out just fine. But you're going to want to cut off your excess fabric on all 4 panels. Looking pretty good. Okay, and I just wanted to show you how I decided to keep those cuffs in place when I sewed them together. I just stitched them down at the very top so that they wouldn't move when I put them through my sewing machine. So that's all that I did, and that's why the thread's red and not purple. I really didn't care, because when you flip it to the other side, you can't tell at all. So now these shorts, well, the skirt is completely ready to roll. Let's see what it looks like. Okay guys, as with most of the DIYs that I do, I ran into a few unexpected things. I was thinking that I was going to be able to seam rip out that crotch area, straighten out those seams, sew together, done, right? I was thinking I was going to show you guys a super easy DIY. Well, obviously that's not what happened, because I wasn't even thinking about all the excess fabric that they had in the front and in the back to give the shorts the baggy look that they were going for that didn't look good on me. So all I really did when I seam ripped out the crotch and straightened out those areas and sewed them together was I just changed it into ill-fitting skirt. So we went from ill-fitting shorts to an ill-fitting skirt. So I might have been able to actually leave them shorts and just take out the fabric like I ended up doing for the skirt in the end, but it's fine. I will probably more than likely wear it as a skirt than I would shorts anyways. So it's a better fix for me, but nonetheless, thank goodness I put my DIY cap back on that hasn't been on in a while, and I thought to myself, there's got to be a way to fix this that's really easy, and I knew I was making it harder than it needed to be. So all I needed to do was just take in those areas, fit them to my body so that I could have it fit the way that I expected it to, so that it looked better for my body. Now, other people would probably be able to pull this off with it being that baggy look with the excess fabric they had there, but for me, it just wasn't looking good on me, so I wanted to figure out a different way to make this work
for my body. And I think I found the perfect solution. I am so happy with it. I am so excited. It felt so good to be back behind the sewing machine. I haven't been behind the sewing machine in a good while, so I really needed that. I am so excited just to jump back into all these fun DIYs that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. And I hope that you found this one helpful or useful in some way. If you did, please hit that subscribe button. Click the notification bell, like, share, do all of those things to help other people find this channel. Thanks so much for taking the time to check this out, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye! What's up, gorgeous people? It's Amber. Welcome back to my channel. I have no idea what video this is. Oh, I have no idea. I feel like this is off. Hold on. What's up, gorgeous people? It's Amber. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, why do I keep forgetting? Okay, hold on. I don't know what I was thinking when I bought them, other than the fact that I like to wear pleather. I like, yeah. Yeah. Great. Let's move on. So as always, I'm going to be doing Saturday. What? I just totally derailed. What was I going to say? Ugh. So after I was going through all of my closet of things that I just recently got from the hauls that needed help, I kind of grouped them all in a section. I chose for today to do the, I looked at them. Did you see that I looked at them? Probably. Let's do it again. I don't have my ring on. I was thinking that I was going to be able just to seam rip out that crotch area, straighten out that seam, and sew it together. Okay. Whew. Okay, guys, with any... what? Ugh. Okay, guys, as with any DIY that most people do, you run into some unexpected problems. Why can't I say that? Do it again. Okay, guys, as with any DIY, for most people anyways, you run into some unexpected problems. And obviously, this isn't working.